Today, we're taking your smart home experience outdoors. I'm talking about the new Nanoleaf Outdoor String Lights. We're gonna discuss the good and the bad and try to determine if these lights would be a good addition to your smart home. Let's go. Yo, what's up guys? My name is Shane and this channel is all about building an easy Apple home, smart home with new videos and live streams published every week. Nanoleaf, a brand that makes high-end smart lighting products, many of which you can find right here in this studio, has recently released their new Matter-compatible outdoor string lights. Now, full disclosure, Nanoleaf did send me this box of string lights so I could test them out and potentially share them with you here on the channel. But this video is not sponsored and there are no strings attached. Regardless, you're gonna get my honest thoughts and feedback as always. In fact, I really wasn't planning on making this video. See, Nanoleaf sent me these and they arrived literally the day after I finished installing my other string lights on my new back porch or back patio area. I recently redid my whole backyard to include string lights, so I really didn't want to redo that again, but you know, things change and I'll explain why I ended up doing it. I am a big fan of string lights in general. I think they're a great way to instantly upgrade any outdoor space. But historically, I've always just used regular dumb string lights, which is what I had just installed. I haven't really found any smart string lights that I thought actually looked good. I've seen those from Govee and Twinkly and just never really thought they looked as good as, you know, traditional outdoor string lights with those Edison type bulbs. And then I actually saw these by Nanoleaf in person. Now the style is almost identical to the heavy duty dumb string lights that I had always preferred and like the ones I was using. The bulb is a little bit different of course, but overall very similar design. Now, the bulbs actually have this unique gem-like style that can create some pretty cool multi-dimensional lighting effects. After testing them out on my screen porch, you know, for a while and just seeing how cool they looked, I decided I had to go ahead and install them over the new patio to see how they looked there. I think this is actually Nanoleaf's first outdoor product, which is pretty interesting. Well, maybe their second. They did release their smart Christmas lights last year that I think also work outside. Anyways, these string lights are rated IP65. The included outdoor controller is rated IP67 and the power supply unit is rated IP44, which means they're all water and dust resistant and perfect for patios, backyards, or gardens. You can purchase the starter kit in 15, 30, or 45 meter options, and you can purchase extensions at 15 meter lengths. Now the max length you can go with extensions and everything is 45 meters. So keep that in mind, but that will give you a lot of coverage, 45 meters. That's just under, I think, 150 feet. Inside the box, you'll get your getting started guide with Matter code on it, your outdoor controller, and power supply. And of course, we have our string lights. The bulbs are a very solid plastic material, which I do really like. They almost look like glass, but you don't have to worry about them breaking like I did with my previous old traditional string lights. These large plastic bulbs are really just for design. You can unscrew them and you can see the little LEDs inside the socket part. You'll want to download the Nanoleaf app if you don't already have it. Add a new device by scanning that Matter code. Go through the prompts and add the lights to your Wi-Fi network. And now they should be working in the Nanoleaf app. Now this is a Matter over Wi-Fi device, not Thread, like Nanoleaf's other Essentials products. That means you will need to connect this to your Wi-Fi network, so that is something to consider as, you know, you'll most likely be using these outside, so you just want to make sure you do have a decent Wi-Fi connection wherever you end up using these. Now to add them to my smart home ecosystem via Matter, I just went into the device settings and tapped Connect to Matter. It's going to then automatically add them to my Apple Home. Once done, I can now control them in the Apple Home app. The whole setup process and everything, even with Matter, was all pretty smooth with this device. Each strand has 20 addressable RGBWIC LED bulbs. That means the LEDs can change between 16 million colors plus tunable whites because they have dedicated white LEDs, and they are individually addressable, meaning you can have multiple colors and effects across the strand at once. You can see some of the cool scenes here in the Nanoleaf app. You can favorite any of these to show up in the favorites section. Many scenes do support music mode, which allows the lights to react to your music using a little microphone that's located on the controller. There is an option to create your own scenes, but at the time being, once you have configured your lights with Matter, you can't use this feature. We'll come back to that in a minute. Either way, I'm sort of okay with that because personally, I really don't like to create scenes and stuff like that from scratch. I'd much rather just search and find some cool ones that are already made, which you can do in the Discover section of the Nanoleaf app. Some effects are made by Nanoleaf and many are actually created and uploaded by users from the community. Now in the Apple Home app or whatever smart home ecosystem you're using via Matter, you'll have the ability to turn the lights on and off, change the colors, and adjust the brightness. Currently, there is no way to change the effects. You will have to use the Nanoleaf app for that. Now that said, if you do turn the lights off and then on again using Apple Home or your smart home ecosystem, they should revert to the last scene or color that was used. You can also use the controller to turn it on, change the brightness and effects. So let's cover the pros and cons. First, what I don't like or what maybe could be improved. See, once you pair your lights to Matter and you try to create a custom scene, it tells you that you can only do this via Wi-Fi. Seems strange since they are connected to Wi-Fi already, right? Well, if you go into the device settings, you can see an option that says connect to Wi-Fi, which again, I thought we already did, right? Tap connect and you get a prompt saying that if you change Wi-Fi settings here, it could result in losing the connection to Matter or your smart home ecosystem. So that can all be a bit confusing. Pretty sure this is a Matter over Wi-Fi issue or limitation. I've experienced similar things with other Matter over Wi-Fi lighting products from other brands. So, just something to be aware of. Again, it can be pretty confusing and you could potentially mess up your whole Matter setup or smart home ecosystem setup pairing by doing this. So just be careful with that. Another thing to note, again, assuming this could be from that Matter integration, is that you cannot export your scenes or effects from the Nanoleaf app over to HomeKit like you can do with many of the other Nanoleaf products, like the lines and shape panels that I have here in the studio. That is certainly unfortunate for my fellow HomeKit users out there. If you're like me, you'd probably love to have the ability to change those effects with HomeKit. Because of that limitation, it would be really great if the Nanoleaf app supported Siri shortcuts. Then we could at least create shortcuts to control and change the effects through our shortcuts or through Siri, but unfortunately we can't right now. Now, all that said, the Matter integration on these has worked great for me so far. I tested them out for a while before installing them because I really did not want to hang up something that was gonna not be reliable, and give me like no response issues and stuff like that. I have had issues with other Matter over Wi-Fi devices, even fairly recently from other brands. But again, so far these have been very reliable and responsive through Matter and in the Apple Home app. I can turn them on and off and adjust the brightness in the Home app or with Siri. Turn the Nanoleaf string lights off. And of course, I can include them in my HomeKit automations and scenes. I just can't change the lighting effects without having to go to the Nanoleaf app. Now, one thing I did think was kind of dumb was that the controller is very close to the first bulb. Most likely these will be hung up high, like in my case, which can make the physical controller virtually unusable if it's, too high to reach. Seems like it would have made a little bit more sense to put it, closer to the plug side. I don't know. Overall, I like the design. They have that heavy duty look and feel that I do like in traditional outdoor lights. Once I had them hung, I don't really think I like them more than my traditional string lights, with the Edison bulbs and everything, but it is close. They are definitely the best looking outdoor smart string lights that I've seen so far. That gem style bulb does create some cool effects on the ground and surrounding walls that it's close to, and I like how solid and durable they are. Plus, I now have the ability to change the colors, effects, and brightness, which is not something you can do with traditional string lights, even when using a smart plug. The price is a little bit high, starting at $129.99 US for the 15 meter version and going up from there. The 30 meter version that I got is priced at $199, so not cheap. However, Nanoleaf products typically are more on the premium side, so I actually think the price is reasonable considering the quality and how much you're getting. I mean, this 30 meter version that I have is almost 100 feet of lights, so you can get, a lot of coverage for that. Overall, despite the limitations that I think come with that Matter integration, I've been quite happy with these. They look good, and best of all, they've worked reliably for me in my Apple Home setup. Let me know what you think about them down in the comments. Also, I've considered making another video showing how to hang smart string lights properly. So if that's something you'd be interested, also let me know down below in the comments. Right here is a video showing my entire backyard makeover. We just added a ton of cool smart home tech to this area, including a smart grill, smart robot mower, and an automatic TV lift. Check it out if that sounds interesting to you. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already for more smart home content like this every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.